1.
Welcome to At Sometime Somewhere from Audio-Technica, a podcast about art and culture in New York City. My name is Annabelle Klein-Zillis. Here with me today is the incredible Quincy Davis and Uma Fodar. I'm the founder of a platform called That Good Shit, and these two beautiful people work with me on the team. Would you two like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm Quincy Davis. I currently go to NYU. I just finished my third year at the Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music. I'm a producer. I'm a DJ. I plan events, organize events with That Good Shit, also independently, parties, concerts, pop-ups, whatever. Yeah, and then at That Good Shit, just A&R curator, journalist, writer, just as involved with good music as we can be,
Yeah. My name's Uma Fodar. I'm also at NYU. I'm going to be a senior. I'm a mixed media visual artist, mostly photography, graphic design, a little bit of everything. I also work with Annabelle for That Good Shit, as we said earlier, A&R curation, event coordination, really anything Annabelle needs help with, all things visual journalism, all that fun good shit, as you will.
Yeah. That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah. And then a little bit about myself. My name is Annabelle Klein-Zillis. I'm the founder of That Good Shit. I'm also a DJ, an artist manager. And yeah, I just have found a way to make a living out of building community around great music online and in real life. And yeah, we have all moved out here to New York City from different parts of the country to pursue our dreams in music. And it's been a time, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do in New York City right now? Just like you're stepping outside, you get one activity to do in the day. What's the first thing you're going to do?
They know what I'm going to say. Absolutely go dangerously crazy on the city bikes.
Oh,
listening to some dangerously crazy good music. And yeah, just kind of like feeling the wind against my face. We were talking about it earlier, just like how amazing it is to listen to music in that kind of environment, in that kind of context, and just like kind of fully embracing just like the freedom of the bike, but also the freedom of the music, So I think that's my favorite thing to do in New York City right now, is just like bike around, listen to my new favorite music or oldies that are still goodies.
Oh, yeah. Call me a copycat.
Uh-oh.
Copycat.
But I fear I love to do the same thing. I do think that's like one of my favorite things to do in my day-to-day life here in New York City is hopping on a bike, listen to some good old tunes, feeling the wind on your face, as Quincy stated.
Okay.
Maybe I really am a copycat. I also love hitting a good park. I love touching grass out here, even if it may have some little critters.
Some critters, some trash, some pee.
Just ignore it,
it's still grass. It's still grass.
It's still grass at its
love
roots.
It.
Definitely. That's something that really pulls us all together, because I would say the same thing. Like getting outside, listening to some music, getting on the city bike. Always the best way to start your day in New York City. I'd love to know for each of you, what was your motivation to come out to New York, and what were your goals for yourself? Where did you see your life going pre-connecting with That Good Shit? Like, you came out here, what was your goal? Where did you see yourself going?
Yeah, for me, I grew up in Chicago, so did Quincy, but we also had very different experiences, I feel like, in Chicago. I went to high school in a very white, suburban, vanilla town, and I was always craving something more, more like just everything that I admired growing up, which was creatives, art, music, everything colorful and bright, and there was a lack of that where I grew up. So I used to come out here to New York maybe every summer. My aunt lives here. My dad used to live here. A lot of my family just is in this general area. And every time I would come here and then go back home, I would kind of feel this weird feeling of just rebirth. And I think this city just has a way of making you feel brand new every single day. And I always wanted that from when I was really young. So I made it a goal, applying to colleges. I really only applied to schools around here. And when I got into NYU, it really, really changed my life. My like first experience in New York was actually after my first semester of college, which was abroad. It was in Paris, and I was just so desperate to come here because I feel like nothing is like the city, and I really wanted to be around more people that enjoyed and loved all the things that I love. And yeah, after being here, it's been an incredible journey. It's been so like the city really has a way of like breaking you, kicking you to the curb, kicking you to the ground, keep like continuous just poking and kicking, but also it has a great way of, bringing out all the qualities that maybe you wouldn't have been able to experience in any other place. So I'm just yapping a lot, but like I love the city. It's
Yap
great.
away, girl.
Yo, it's so fun. It's so fun out here. It's so beautiful out here. There's so many different types of people here, and I feel like I've never felt more at home in any other place than I have here. So,
Aw.
yeah.
What about you, Quincy?
Well, I mean, like Uma said, like I'm from the Chicagoland area. People get touchy when I say Chicago, so I'm gonna say Chicagoland area. And yeah, I remember kind of being in middle school and just like really like I remember saying I went to like summer camp at University of Illinois. They had like a music camp where you could like stay in the dorms for like a week at a time. And like I was in like sixth grade and I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And like I remember going and I remember saying like on the first day, kind of like similar question that you posed, or just like, like what brought you here? And I was like, like I said, like sixth grade, just got like my first laptop. And I was like, I hate all the music on the radio right now and I want to make something different. And then like everyone like looked at me and they were like, whoa, what? And I was like, what? Like, and they're like, that's hard, like, and I was like, all right. And then, yeah, I just got my first laptop. I was like DJing, like not even on a controller, just like on some like really shitty software that I found online. I was really into EDM. And so I was like DJing like Skrillex drops and like Zomboy and like Monster Cat, like artists and all that. Eventually kind of like led me to like producing more, in like seventh and eighth grade, but like still EDM. But like, I don't know if you guys ever tried to produce EDM, but that shit is very hard, especially as a middle schooler. And so I eventually was just like, this is too difficult. Like I bit way more than I could chew. Like maybe let's just like stick with just making hip hop, And so then I started making like kind of like really weird trap beats on my computer. And I kind of like invited my friends over to like my basement, or we go over to each other's houses, and like they would like record like verses on them, like over my beats and stuff, just like on some like having a good time type shit. And yeah, like, but they would kind of like rap like offbeat a little bit. And so I had to like always go in, like edit their timing and like edit like how they said a bar, like take out a bar, like, make it into a chorus because we never recorded one or whatever. And like eventually, like through people that I met at the middle school camp, they also went to my high school at U of I. They also went to my high school. And then like also like making music with the people already at my high school. Eventually I just kind of found out about the NYU Clive Davis Institute program. And I was like, that sounds like a deal right there, And so that just sounded like everything that I wanted to do. I looked at the teachers and they were a part of like some of the projects that like quite literally got me into hip hop, got me into music. Just like looked at the curriculum and it was like everything that I was like begging to like learn about. Like YouTube wasn't cutting it at that point. And just like, it just seemed like such a cool program. And I just like, COVID hit. I took that Hail Mary and I like grinded for like 3 months working on that application, got in. And then like kind of from there, it was just like kind of looking back on what I said in middle school, sixth grade, and being like, I remember saying that like, I don't like music right now and I want to change it. And so like now I'm getting the opportunity with a curriculum behind me in a city that birthed the genre of music that I'm most passionate about, and has a community that's like flourishing and really respects the type of music that I want to work in. And so like from then on, I was just like, this is like the first step to being the change that I want to see. And so I kind of came here with that like battery in my back, even thinking about like my homies that I was recording in my basement who didn't get that opportunity or didn't get that big of an opportunity. to the extent that they did. And that continued to motivate me more, just so that it was kind of just like a way where it's like, I was going hard so that because my homies couldn't go hard with me, but also so that like eventually, like, it wasn't for nothing us recording in the basement. It was like, I could look back on it and be like, yeah, I remember we was in the basement recording, like while we were in the basement recording. I would be like, yeah, like I can't wait to like look back on this, like, but like, yeah, that just kind of sent me to New York with just like this whole just like grind set, just like I said I'm gonna do it, like now I'm gonna do everything that I can. I'm just came here hungry for knowledge, community, just like anything I could get my hands on.
Yeah. That's really beautiful. It's cool to see you guys both come here like with all this ambition and just like knowing what you were looking for, especially in the world of art and music. Like I think we all came here for that same reason, like knowing that if you want to come here and like make impact, make change, and like create, like this is the place to do it. One of the things I experienced when I came to New York is like I experienced so many like niche micro communities within music. Which like kind of more come together as I've been here for longer. But I want to know for each of you, like, what's the first like niche community in music that you got involved in when you first moved here? Like your first friends you made in the music world, first like artists you met, or anything like that.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I mean, I came here. Earl Sweatshirt is still my number one artist, but I came here with like Earl Sweatshirt, like really like being my like number one, like greatest of all time artist. And then through just like kind of like deep diving throughout that whole niche, I ended up coming across Redveil, like when he just dropped Niagara. And then through coincidence, met up with his like manager because we live nearby, and he was also going to NYU. And so, yeah, I came to New York kind of meeting that community and that side. I ended up like doing a couple shows in the early days of Redville in like Maryland and stuff like that, but also here in New York. And like kind of growing from there, ended up getting connected with Diz, and like texted him a couple times, and then he was like, yo, I'm managed by this girl named Annabelle. I don't know if you know who she is. And I was like, yo, Annabelle on the West Side Gun TikToks? Like, I love her. And then, yeah, like, he was like, oh, bet, well, I'm about to meet her right now. So you want to come by? I was like, hell yeah, I want to come by. Like, I love her. And then, like, literally, that's like how it went. So I gotta give credit. Like, first, like, micro community was like that Niagara Redville era.
Yeah.
And then like that led me to you.
Yeah, I think this world, I don't know. First of all, New York is just like so weirdly interconnected, especially in like music and art and all of that. I feel like my music story, if you will, like kind of started before I even came here. I mean, back in Chicago, I was shooting photos for a lot of different like music related events. I shot Lollapalooza. And that's where I also met Redville's manager, which is one of our mutuals. And that's where I first heard about Quincy Davis, none other than. And I found out that all three of us were going to go to NYU. So that was kind of like a little backstory to that. I feel like I was really into that like realm of hip hop that was more, just not mainstream, more niche, as we were talking about. And then, like I previously said, like my first semester of college wasn't even in New York. I'd gotten waitlisted at NYU, actually. It was like the most demoralizing thing ever. I was going to go to school in UC San Diego, guys.
Dang.
Like, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Things would have been so different.
Yo,
Facts.
I remember I was like so ready to go. I know we're kind of like getting off topic here, but I just remember this was so vivid in my brain always. Every time I like realized I'm here, like I was so ready to go to school in San Diego. I remember like just like thinking about what my life was going to be there. I was going to go study like science or some shit there, like something totally different than what I'm doing here. And I remember driving one day, it was like May, almost summer. So it was like one of those warm days. I was driving to the beach and I got an email from like my NYU portal and it said like a change has been made to your portal right now. I was like, what's happening? I pull over and it says, I opened the portal and it's like, you have been admitted to NYU Paris. I was like, wait, what is going on? I remember like reversing the car driving back home, I told my mom. My mom was like on the phone, so she like yelled at me, being like, "Ooh, I'm on the phone right now. Like, what is it?" And I told her I got an NYU. That was just craziest moment because from that moment itself, I knew I wasn't gonna do all the things that I thought I was gonna do in San Diego. I knew I was gonna go into like music and art and creative stuff, and I was gonna pursue what like I'd always wanted to pursue. But yeah, like kind of going off some tangents here, but like first semester was in Paris, so I hadn't really come to New York like at the same time that Quincy started his school. But I remember when I did, which was like summer of 2022, I want to say, I kind of was really lost in this city, like low key. It was really, the city has such a way of like making you feel so alone, even though there's so many people here. But I remember, I think, getting in contact with Quincy again towards like the end of the year in the winter, and which is crazy, right? Like my first like real music experience was like through both of you guys. It's just like, wow, so much love.
Yeah, right.
I remember getting in contact with Quincy because I had seen he was posting all of his like barbershop shows, and that was like really close to where I lived. I used to live in a dorm that was like just blocks away, and that was right when I'd been DJing since I was little, but I'd really started DJing, I feel like around that like winter area. I'd bought my first controller and I was like super into it, just like in my dorm, bored. So I would like mix on my controller, but I saw Quincy was like putting together actual like live shows, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any community in music. But I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go to this event by myself. And I remember
pulled up by herself, yo. I was like, who is
by
she, bro? I
myself.
was like, she looks mad familiar. I have no idea who she is now.
What's crazy is that I also was the first person to arrive to Quincy's show that day. It was like a Christmas show or something. It was like right before winter break.
That was the one that was in the New York Times.
That was the one that was in the New York Times. And which is just insane to think about. And I remember pulling up super early, maybe like 9, because that's what it said on the flyer. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna pull up at 9, bright and early. Quincy told me to go home and come back. He literally said, bro, go home and come back in like 2 hours.
Well, it was because I was like still setting up.
He was
like,
still
I was
setting up, and I was like,
people,
wow, that's so awkward. So I went back to my dorm, and I came back 2 hours later, and it was like actually really packed. And that was honestly where I met Annabelle too. Annabelle was opening for you, I think, or something. She was on the lineup, and I saw her, and I was like, wait, I feel like I've seen her like just like in the media, like on TikToks and shit, and like all music stuff. I remember your JID interview that was like ingrained in my mind, and I saw your face and I was like, wait, this is a real person. Like, oh my gosh. So it's just funny that was like my first real like memory of like kind of connecting with the music community here, being a DJ and like meeting 2 DJs that were like actively playing shows and stuff and like doing things. I remember like asking him to take photos, and then we like all became friends. Just like a great cute little story. But like I really do feel like my friendship with you guys is what like allowed all this like music love and just love for art and creative stuff to like get pushed outwards. And yeah, I wouldn't exchange it for anything else. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Love that. One thing that we all have in common is that we all DJ. We have a DJ trio called The House, which is the 3 of us together.
Had to throw it up.
And I think that like being a DJ in New York is an experience many of us have. I feel like it's like a stereotype. Like you move to New York, you become a DJ. Like
every second person here is a DJ.
Like you're in Bushwick on the street, you're like, hey, what do you do? You're probably a DJ.
I'm a DJ.
No, I'm a creative. I'm a DJ.
Trying to like DJ a little bit.
I want to know for you guys, like how do I want to ask this? I feel like a big part of like my journey as a DJ has been finding a way to differentiate myself from the 50,000 other DJs that are out here. So for each of you, what has it been like for you living in New York, existing in an ecosystem of so many DJs, and trying to differentiate yourself and make a name for yourself as a DJ who's different from the thousands of other DJs that are around you? Like, how are you navigating that?
Okay, I guess I'll take this one first. I mean, I feel like in terms of just like all art and all things creative, my like grounding really comes from like picking a lot of different things from a bunch of different people that I really admire and just kind of like blending it into one, but also like finding my own little like spin on that. I feel like we know this. We've all been through like so much different shit here. We've all had like different walks of life and whatnot. And I feel like finding things that really just resonate with you and make your own taste and formulate your own taste. That's just like the beauty of, you know, art and creation out here. But yeah, I like to pick when it comes to DJing specifically. I love watching videos, man. Like I will watch the 2-3 hour Boiler Room set on YouTube and just sit in my room and lock in. But then I'll also like nitpick at the certain like pockets of that where like let's see how like the crowd changes here versus like in other parts of the set, you know. But I feel like going to your events, both of you guys, I've really like been able to like watch you guys DJ, and that's what's allowed my DJ career to like advance. I feel like is just learning from the two closest people like in my community really. And I don't know, I love learning from other people. I feel like that's just like the most motivating factor of it. And it's really hard to be different, man. I feel like everyone does everything out here. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's facts.
Like everyone does everything. Like you think you're so like, you know, you have your own thing, but then there's someone that does like that and 6 other things, which is like insane to think about.
You can
But-
never top like the person next to you. It seems like sometimes
Yeah.
it can be a lot of pressure.
But it's also, there's like a beauty in that, you know? Like everyone does everything. And I think that's the crazy part about New York as a city is that everyone literally does everything. And they put
Nice.
their whole like heart and soul into it. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's also like one of my motivations. It's just like if everyone's gonna do everything and everyone's going crazy, you know, like that means I gotta go even crazier.
Crazier. Super crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like on the like side of uniqueness, I don't know. It's like you gave me some like time to think about it, and I still didn't really like come up with much. Cause like I don't know, like similar to Uma, like I remember like being in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, like watching like bird's eye view videos of like
Right.
Tiesto like DJing at like Tomorrowland or like Skrillex
Yeah.
DJing at like Lollapalooza,
Exactly.
and I'll be like, yo, what?
Did you ever
And
go to Lollapalooza and see the
Nah.
sets?
Nah, it was
Damn.
literally just off the Eagle Eye vids, bro.
Damn.
Like the first time I went to Lala was like 2 years ago.
Wow.
Not even. It was like when Kendrick was there, so I was
What's
like
the
last
one
year.
set that's there where it's all the DJs and they just like play EDM and like dubstep and shit? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, bro.
That-
I was upset
Yeah.
I missed that entire era, low key.
Man,
Some
it
of
was
my favorite artists
crazy.
are on there, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, keep saying your spiel.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was just saying that I was watching a lot of videos, and like at times when I shouldn't have been watching those videos, like during class, I was like so obsessed with just like seeing how they did that, and like same thing, just like seeing like how they made a fire transition and then the crowd would react, and then like also see like the troll videos and be like, Tiesto actually did a pre-recorded mix. Why? Because deck 3 is actually turned off, so how could he do that without deck 3? And I'm like, yo, what? And I'm like, you know, but like kind of like not subconsciously, but I inherently like learned a lot about DJing, so that by the time like I saw a DJ controller like in person, like it was the DDJ SB2, I knew exactly what to do. And I remember I mixed like a Logic song with like Childish Gambino 3005, and that was like the first mix that I like ever did officially. And I did it just like not even thinking about
for
it.
real?
Yeah, just like literally just like I saw it and I was like, put 2 songs on, and I just went for it. And then yeah, like I remember that being my first mix and being like, whoa, you know. And then yeah, just like then taking that experience and then coming here, kind of same like what you were saying, just like meeting those people who are like, oh, I'm a DJ, like I live in Bushwick, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, how long have you been DJing for? I'd be like, shit, like last week. You know? Like word,
Right.
like, you know. And so like I kind of battle the uniqueness battle by just like honestly just being unique in yourself, you know. Like I know my history and I'm confident in
Exactly.
like how I started DJing. I know how much work I was putting in without even realizing I was putting in work,
Exactly.
to the point where it's like now I can blend genre, I can blend BPM, I can blend artists, and it's always going to be a reflection of how I'm feeling at the moment and what I wanted to hear next, and what is it's just like encompasses like me right now. It's just like these 2 songs next to each other type shit. And so it's just like, I don't know, I never really thought about it like about like differentiating myself, because I always saw like DJing as just an extension of myself. And so yeah, I fight the uniqueness allegations by being unique, I
You
guess.
just gotta, just be unique. Quincy, did you ever have the DJ app? Like DJAY?
On the computer?
Yes.
Yeah,
Or on like the iPad.
Yeah.
You just like reminded me. I don't know why. It was the Logic 3005 mix. Because
Yeah.
when I was younger, I used to have a Newmark controller that was like white plastic. It was
Yo.
like literally like 2 pounds, like
Newmark L.
light shit. And I used to have
No
an
brand
iPad that you would like plug into it and put the DJ app on it, and I could only download music from like iTunes or some shit. It was always like copyright,
pretty
whatever.
grimy.
Yo, oh my gosh, I need to find my mixes from that era because you just really reminded me of, like, all that shit. I think also it's funny that we both had like the 6th grade, middle school, whatever, like era of like
Yeah.
EDM dubstep, like Troy Boy. Do you know Troy Boy?
Nah. Troy
Yeah,
Boy?
I need to put you on. Like,
Put me on.
oh my gosh, that was like really my shit. And like, there's all these like crazy like rhythm EDM DJs, bro. Like Sudden Death and crazy shit. Like you would not believe this. I feel like looking at me, like knowing me.
Bruh.
I'm gonna put you after this podcast. We're gonna listen to some of this EDM and like just go crazy.
I
But
tell people all the time
Yeah.
that like what got me into DJing, what got me into producing
Trap
was
and
like
EDM, bro.
was that
Yeah.
era of EDM.
it's just
and they're
insane.
always like
The SoundCloud era, like
not even like
not even.
like it was the like Skrillex Recess era,
Right.
like Scary Monsters and Nice Spice era. Like I
Yeah.
remember that vividly. Like I was there and I was like, whoa, like this was like changing my life. Just like I can't believe you can make something like this on a computer and it sounds
Right.
like that, you know, like, and then like you can go out and you don't have to have a traditional like band, or you can come from a traditional band background like Skrillex did, but also still be a DJ. Like DJing is a completely different art form in of itself.
For sure.
And like kind of like the way that I was watching them like navigate the music scene as DJs, but also like gain respect as DJing as its own art form was like I was seeing that in real time, and that like really like inspired me to be like, all right, like I could really do this. Like I
Yeah,
said, as soon as I
dude.
saw the SB2,
Yeah.
it was over, bro. Like
Man, I love pushing buttons.
When you guys are out in New York now, who's one DJ that always inspires you when you see them play, or like someone you feel like you learn from every time you see them play? I'd go first if you guys want to think about it.
Yeah, go
I think you should go first.
But I feel like every time I watch Dylan Ali play, my brain is like completely rewired. I think like her choices are so unique and so fun. And yeah, I feel like every time I watch her play, I leave feeling like mad inspired. It's been a really long time since I've seen a set from her too, so I need to like
Yeah.
get updated. But that's someone who always makes me like I leave and I'm like, no, I'm a terrible DJ. Like I need to go lock in. Who's someone that makes you guys feel that way?
first one
sorry.
that came to mind was Black Noise.
Oh, first
who's
classic.
Earl
Yeah.
Sweatshirt's DJ, bro.
Insane.
Bro, there was a Black Noise set that changed my life. Like
Bro,
there was one.
Like
that-
there was
yeah.
a couple. I can't lie.
There have been a
Like,
few.
There's been a few where like, cause like, I mean, like I said earlier, it was just like, I'm not really thinking about genre. I'm not really thinking about like tempo when I'm putting these two songs next to each other. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work.
We're just thinking about vibes.
Just thinking about
Yeah.
vibes. He is just thinking about vibes. Like just straight vibes. And he knows how to control the vibe to the point where it's just like you're dancing and you're grooving and you didn't even realize that you were listening to the most like heinous baile funk edit that you've
Right.
ever heard of your life, and then transitioned it into some like Detroit house. And I was like, yo, like
Insane.
I've seen like 3 or 4 sets of Black Noise in like the past like 2 years in New York City, I think. And like every single one is like, yeah, I need to go back home and lock in and like learn how to DJ again, because he just threw my whole shit out the window.
Yeah.
Totally.
What about you?
Speaking of baile funk.
Oh.
We love our baile funk over
Yeah.
here on this side of the couch. Oh my gosh.
Yo.
I saw Sango. I saw Sango at Knockdown Center with Zillion. Shout out Z.
Shout out Zillion.
Shout out Zillion. That set was insane. Like Sango as a producer is like crazy. Like I love all of his edits. All the baile funk edits are insane. But like seeing him live too, like just blend baile funk, like you said, kind of with like the most random shit, but it works so perfectly and just controls the vibe so well. He was great. I loved seeing him. There's also two other, I can't pick one. I can't. There's two other DJs. One named Z Muffin. She's really, really great. And another girl named Jyoti. And they're both like South Asian. They're not based in New York, but they do DJ out here and like elsewhere a lot. And just like places around here. And one thing that they do, which I feel like so connected to it, is they blend a lot of like South Asian music with like baile funk and deep house and just like garage and all of that. And it's just such a, I don't know, when you see people like from a similar culture to you like doing something that you never envisioned necessarily, like that's just such a beautiful thing. I feel like everyone in my family like growing up didn't find themselves in like creative stuff like art and music, so like seeing people of like my similar culture like doing that, it's just a beautiful thing. And they're like mix like Hindi and like music with baile funk, and it's just the sickest shit ever. Like I love that, it's so great.
That's super fire.
Yeah.
And outside of DJing, you two are both like young budding creatives, like trying to express yourself in like many avenues, which is why I feel like I connected with y'all. Is like we all have so many ways we're trying to express ourselves outside of just DJing. Tell me a little bit for each of you about where you're at right now in your journey as a creative. What are some things that you're doing outside of DJing that you're working on? How are they going? How are you feeling about it?
Okay.
I don't really know how they're going. Like, I feel like one of the like things that gives me the most anxiety is just like you kind of make a move and there's no measurement of like how good that move went.
And you don't know where that
besides,
moves
like yourself,
until you only can see in retrospect.
Yeah,
like when it's
right,
happening, you're like, I don't know how this is going.
Right. And so like how it's going right now, like I really wish I could tell you.
What are you working on right now though? Like what are some things that you're doing that you're not sure how they're going? Like tell me about just where you're at right now in your creative journey and like the things you're working on.
I'm definitely trying to take more photos and do more photography. I have one of my best friends, Akeem Labi Osias. He's one of my favorite photographers. He's taught me so much about like creating a memory with a photo and like what it means to take a photo and how each and every photo of someone or something is valuable, even if you don't really see the value right there. And like that's inspired me so much and has allowed me to like take something like photography and put it back into like my own personal music, like as like I'm finishing up like a beat tape right now, you know. And so like that's what another thing that I've been working on, where it's just like, you know, using like my beats like with this new mixtape, just like each song is like, or they kind of span over the past like 3 years, but like when I listen to it back, like it's almost like a journal entry, and where I can like exactly place like where I was in my dorm room and like what happened like right then when I hear the beat. And like again, I wouldn't have been able to like kind of come to that conclusion without like my homie Akeem just like really just sitting me down and being like telling me about like what keeps him going, you know. And yeah, so you know, finding new avenues through photography, continuing like producing, making beats and stuff with a new mixtape on the way. And then events, you know, I've been on my event grind recently.
Quincy, tell us about the event that's Quincy booked an event recently with like one of the most exciting lineups any of us has ever booked with some artists that we truly really love.
So excited.
You want to tell us a little bit about that? Like this is such a I know we're gonna look back on this and be like, this was a turning point for Quincy's events.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
I've been on my event grind recently. I started a producer showcase at Loudmouth Brooklyn. Shout out Loudmouth Brooklyn in Bed-Stuy, New York. Shout out Sam. You know, been doing like monthly producer showcases.
What are they called?
Called Crate Sessions, you know. And I just get together my favorite producers, whether it's the homies or like whether it's like a producer that I've been like looking up to for a while, put them all on the same bill and like get people to come out so that they get a taste of something that like they're really excited about while also getting put on to someone that they weren't hip to before. But at the end of the day, just kind of like vibe in the backyard, listening to some really tough beats. And then, yeah, coming up, bruh, DJ Black Power, a.k.a. Big Mike.
Lovely.
Big Mike.
Big
454. Bruh, Squills. Bruh, Gator Face. Bruh.
454.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like those, like, we talk about Mike and 454 so much.
Every day.
Every
like,
single
literally
day.
every
Oh my
day.
gosh.
And like it took so much to get them on the same lineup, but like I really can't believe that it happened, because like again, it really meant so much to put them on the same bill as the homies who I've been listening to, just like on some calm casual shit, just like been like at the same level, and bringing everyone together just to
Right.
celebrate producers, celebrate beats, and celebrate each other has been like one of the most rewarding things, and it's been so fulfilling. And I'm so grateful for this show, because it just showed me how much community can take you, and how much a love for music can take you in addition to that community, and how much they multiply each other, you know, just like genuine passion, genuine interest.
We're
It's
so
just
proud of
like,
you.
bruh,
Oh, we're so proud of you,
I
Quincy.
appreciate y'all, bro. Like I said, like,
Yeah.
I mean, these are all three of ours, like, I don't know about you, but all three of our favorite artists, you know, like,
Facts.
this
No,
has like
we
been
love-
a dream team,
we
bro.
love-
And like I want to hear your answer, Uma, but just like off what you're saying, Quincy, I think it's so true, and something that like I've learned a lot through that good shit, and something I think like that good shit has taught me is like all of the really cool shit, that good shit, and like you also with Crate Sessions, as this is an example, has been able to accomplish, has been like, I feel like the way we move is like incredibly community focused, incredibly like music first, and we also move with like a slow burn. Like we let things come together naturally. We're
Yeah.
not out here like forcing artists to do anything. And I think like watching you put this together has been like such a long labor of love, and you did it in a way that was so genuine, and you spent so long like building all the genuine relationships you had to like make this happen in a way where everyone felt good, everyone was enthusiastic to be a part of it. And it's just like, that's when you bring the best shit together, and that's how like that good shit has been able to pull off so many of the like unbelievably cool things we've done. And now like you're doing the same shit, and I think like, yeah, it's just the proof is in the pudding. Like we're doing this in a way that feels really cool and authentic, and I'm like proud of you for
Bruh.
doing that.
I appreciate that. I mean, we mentioned on the last like podcast episode about how my first DJ performance was Sunday Sounds at Short Stories in New York. And like I said, like you said, there's just like putting music first is something that you really taught me as well. And just like putting community first, and making sure that like when you're doing something, no matter the scale, that like you putting your heart into it, and you're making sure that everyone is fed, not just like one person is fed, or the venue is fed, or the like headliner is fed. It's just like everyone is fed, but also everyone makes sure they feel the love from you when you put together the lineup, because that way they return it. They won't forget that. And like again, seeing how you operate, working with that good shit, I was only able to like continue on with Crate Sessions, you know. And so bruh, I appreciate you. Like, we know how much that show took, bruh. I'm so happy that it's finally happening. It hasn't happened yet, but by the time this episode drops, like, it would have happened. So,
gonna be
yo, come see me
crazy.
then, bro. I'm gonna start crying.
But
No,
yeah,
we're also
Uma,
excited.
tell me where you're at in your creative journey, things you're working on, because yeah, Uma's like such a talented photographer.
Hell yeah.
I know you're working on your website right now.
Yes.
So what other projects do you have going on outside of your DJing, and how is it going?
I mean, okay, so yeah, you said it. I mean, I shoot a lot of photos. I feel like that was kind of how I got into music in the first place, was like shooting shows and shooting people in music and whatnot. And like when I first moved to the city, I just wanted to keep doing that. You know, I don't study photo at school. I'm not in like art school, but there's so many great photographers in the city. I know we both know Didier. He's so talented, and so many people around him and us are just incredibly talented creatives and visual artists. I feel like when it comes to like music and stuff, like I've always been like so gravitated towards album covers. Like that's just one of the things. Like it's one thing to like make a beautiful song, but then when you make an album cover that like complements the song so beautifully, and then like a video that's so immersive that you watch while you're listening to like the song that you're obsessed with, it's just such a beautiful thing. Like I think the audio visual narrative that just like is music, like embedded within music, is so beautiful, and that's something I've always wanted to replicate for myself and replicate for other people as well. For that good shit, I mean, we've talked about it. I'm gonna start a series where I review album covers as well as all the visuals that an artist would create to complement their music, and I think that's something that I'm really excited to like delve deeper into and like talk to more artists about, because I feel like that's something that maybe they don't tell the public about as much. Maybe they keep it to themselves, but they do think about it, and I think it's really important. I think, that's something I would love to talk about more. With photos, I mean, after being a part of That Good Shit, I feel like it really opened so many doors because I started photographing a lot of people that I love, that I've always loved. Like, oh my gosh, I remember when I took a photo of Mavi. That was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Mavi, navy blue. Like, oh my gosh. I took a photo of Cash Cobain at one of our Lot episodes.
Yeah.
It was our first Lot episode, actually.
That was still, I
insane.
think, the coolest thing we've done all year.
Coolest thing
Facts.
ever,
So
bro.
we had
Like,
Mavi and Cash on the lot.
Yeah,
and
bro.
Kels.
I was in
and
London,
Kels.
bro.
That was so dope.
You got some crazy pictures from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like one of the coolest things. Like, just to think about, like, for example, where Cash Cobain's at right now, and like the fact that I took a photo of him like on our show, like that's just such a crazy, beautiful thing. And it was like, I wouldn't even say it was like the most gorgeous photo, but it was just a moment, And I think for me, that's what photos really always been about. I love like reading photo books. I have like stacks of books at my crib. Like that's something I always do. Like whenever I get back home, if I'm like lacking inspiration, rather than like going on Instagram and like online and looking at photos, I love reading books. Something about like touching the paper and like visually, physically like holding the book and flipping through it, even if it's a photo I've already seen, that like scratches a certain itch in my brain that I feel like can't be scratched anywhere else. And that's something that I want to like replicate for myself too. I would love to make books. I want to work on a book for That Good Shit that's like encompassing our whole year of what we've done and what we've accomplished. I want to create more photo books for myself. Kind of everything in that like just visual sphere is something I want to tackle. I love visual stuff. I'm such a visual learner. I feel like we're all really visual learners.
Low-key.
We are. I'm really excited for Uma to start up this series on That Good Shit, like breaking down album covers and visuals. I feel like that's something we haven't tapped into as much. And it's going to tie in also well, like we're working on an art show event thing with our friend Sam from Loudmouth. And I think like, us getting more involved in the art side of stuff and how that ties into music will be exciting.
Definitely.
What's a moment, like a That Good Shit moment that you're like most proud of thus far?
Ooh.
Damn. That one's crazy, bro.
That is a crazy question.
We've had some moments.
We've had some
moments,
really great moments.
This year's been crazy.
Yeah, I mean, especially since like there were some moments in like your career in addition to like That Good Shit where like I was seeing it like not as much as like your in-person friend, but more as like your pen pal across the across the pond.
Yeah.
And like there's some moments like throughout that arc where I was like, wow, like it really forced me to take like a third person perspective of That Good Shit and you and Uma and Ria and be like, wow, like this is like crazy to see as just like a person in that sphere, not like knowing you guys, just like strictly knowing off social media. I was like, wow. And so like that didn't answer the question, right? But I just think that like there's a lot of things that happened like beginning of this year that I can't take credit for, but I'm super proud and super like happy to see happen for That Good Shit and for you as well. Especially like I said, towards the beginning of the year when I wasn't here, but like I can't think of like a moment that I'm like, yeah, like this is like I wear it on my crest kind of thing. I feel like so much stuff happens and like I feel like we keep topping ourselves a little bit.
Every week it's
so
something.
much
Like literally,
happens,
like it's just like I feel like we have to call each other like every day these days and be like, yo,
guess
bro,
what? Guess
that
what?
was crazy, bro. Like this shit is crazy, like and so it's just like it's hard because like I know as soon as if we say something today, we're gonna think
gonna
about it
change
next
in, like,
week
2
and then be like,
days,
oh
yeah.
man, like we thought, and then we're gonna look back at the video when it drops and be like, we really thought,
Right.
like
Yeah. What about you, Uma?
I feel
Yeah.
like you know what it is. It's honestly like meeting a new artist that you've been like listening to since you were really young, and then just meeting them in the flesh. And
Yeah.
you're like, wow, you're a real person. Like we just met Denzel Curry. That was
Yo.
crazy.
Yeah.
We just got
Facts.
like Denzel Curry. Like
Facts.
that's actually insane. Like I never thought like someone I would listen to like when I was in like 8th grade, I would meet like in real life. That like I don't know, that's really crazy to me. Even someone like meeting Mike for the first time, meeting Mavi for the first time, and Navy Blue, like all of them, just wow.
Wow.
Like such a wow moment. And then like that, but then also establishing some sort of like connection with them. Like it's not like we meet them and they're just like someone passing, or like they are of course like figures that we look up to, but also they're slowly but surely becoming part of our community and part of our sphere, I think, here in New York, which I think is something that's so like we're so grateful for. I think that's such a crazy thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. But also the lot. I don't know. When Annabelle announced to us that she had a lot residency, which she still has, of course,
was
till the end of the
huge.
year.
We have one this Wednesday.
We have one this Wednesday.
one.
Tune in.
Yeah.
That I don't know. That was really exciting for me, especially because I'd always watched the lot episodes just on YouTube, and I thought like the stickers, it's so cool. I thought the space was a lot bigger than it actually is. I
We've been
remember
in that room
seeing
a
that.
couple times.
Yeah, like Fred again was in there.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like that's
Yeah.
insane. Some of the craziest people were in there. Tanashi was in there. Charlie XCX was in there. Lil Yachty
Yeah.
was in there. Like, wild. And then Annabelle touches the same decks. Like, that's
Facts.
crazy.
Many people have touched those decks.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy.
Like, that good shit, like one of the things about that good shit that I really enjoy is that, I mean, like I said, kind of goes back to my answer to this question. It's just like the way that like as soon as I'm like, wow, it can't get crazier than this, it gets that much crazier like literally the next day. You know? And so like even like when we were just like taking like a real short trip down memory lane in those last 2 seconds, I thought of like a bunch more other memories of just like in the past like couple months where I was like, wow, I can't believe we did that. Can't believe we saw him. Can't believe we met her. Can't believe we interviewed them. Like crazy. And so honestly, like it's hard to pick one like favorite that good shit moment because this entire journey has been like super, super rewarding. And I feel so honored to be a part of it.
I'm honored to have you guys be a part of it. I'm going to ask one more question before we get out of here
Sure.
because we're wrapping it up.
We're wrapping it up.
For each of you, I would love to hear one personal goal that you have for the next year, something that you really want to achieve, and one like that good shit related goal that you would like to see us achieve as a team.
Okay.
Well, not like certain timeline, just like a goal.
just like
right?
whenever.
Yeah.
It could be within the next year. We don't have to put a timeline on it,
Yeah,
actually.
no,
Just
no
like
timeline.
one personal goal that you really hope to achieve and one that good shit like team goal you'd like to see
I
us
think
achieve.
I need that good shit Palooza. That good shit fest. I meant that's what I meant.
Like a festival.
Yeah, like a festival.
Mm-hmm.
Like not like a festival like Coachella, but like a summer smash.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like something like that. I feel like is like definitely something that I want to start aiming towards, and I feel like definitely capitalizes and like marks on what we believe in and just like building a community, but also like yelling about our favorite artists like
Right.
as loud as we
Yelling,
can,
yes.
like yelling.
Yeah.
So yeah, that good shit smash.
Okay. And what about a personal goal?
I want to be better than I was yesterday. You know,
Bars.
So real.
low key. Like I don't even mean to be like dodge the question, but like I just feel like every day I'm trying to figure out what I learned from yesterday and what I can do better tomorrow and what I got to do today to get there. And so, yeah.
Love it.
Thank
What
you.
about you, Uma?
And after that, I'm like, what am I supposed to say?
You could just say drink more water or something.
Well, I'll start with a that good shit goal. Yeah, I think definitely a festival is something we've all like been talking about a lot lately. Like after seeing like Young World, like something like that gives back to the community in a way that like nothing else will, like no other show will. I would love to do something that's like maybe curated with our taste and does maybe more things that like represent each of us as individuals, but also just as that good shit. I think something like that is really important. I feel like music as a shared experience is just so valuable, and I would love to like do something that we are a part of, you know, that's like similar to that scale,
Facts.
or like our own, you know,
That good world.
that good world. Yeah,
That Girl World Palooza Smash Fest.
Pitchfork Coach Good Shit Palooza World Young
Fest.
Fest.
shit smash.
Palooza.
Yeah.
Palooza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Personal goal.
a personal goal for
Personal
you,
goal.
Uma?
Personal goal. I feel like one thing that I've always experienced while being here is like What is my favorite thing that I love to do? And I like really can't pick. I feel like there's so much to do here. Like, and when it comes to all of our like creative endeavors, like I feel like I can never like fixate on one thing, and that's like my worst quality, but it's also my best quality. Is that I just love doing everything. But I do think like in terms of all like the visual art that I love to create, I really want to create more gallery spaces that are like nicely curated with all the things that I love music and art wise. I want to create more books. I kind of said this earlier. I want to be able to share my art with everybody in a way that maybe is not so digital. I feel so much when I feel like when I see physical art and I touch physical art and read physical art. And I really want to share that experience more with other people. Yeah, and that could be like a little That Good Shit combo, you know?
Yeah.
We could do a little
Facts.
collab moment. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What?
No, we got to.
Well, this has been lovely. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the like OG That Good Shit team. We're gonna look back on this and remember our humble beginnings as just kids trying to make it in New York. And
For sure.
yeah, this has been Uma Fodar and Quincy Davis. I'm Annabelle Klein-Zillis on the At Sometime Somewhere from Audio-Technica podcast.
Oh yeah.
You want to tell us where we can find you guys on the social medias?
Social media, yeah.
On the web?
On the web?
On the web.
Yeah. Tell them your ad, bro.
Okay, well, you can find me at Uma Fodar on the Instagram and umafodar.com on the website.
Yeah. Quincy Davis with 2 S's on the gram. Quincy Davis on Spotify. It's quincydavis.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can find me at Annabelle Klein with 2 E's and at That Good Shit and thatgoodshitmusic.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it real simple.
Oh, yeah. This is the house.
Whoa.
This is That Good
Assemble.
Shit. The house.
Bro, cut it. Please end it. End it, bro.
At Sometime Somewhere is produced by Audio-Technica for AT1 Radio. It is recorded at AT1 Studio at Technica House, New York. Follow AT1 Radio and Audio-Technica USA on all social media platforms. Thanks for listening.